if you're setting up your AI agency, the first thing that we need to do is look at the offer that you're going to charge your clients. And creating your offer is one of the hardest parts, because if you take a long time selling the wrong offer, you're not going to get any clients. Whereas if your sales level is on a beginner level, then you want to have a very easy offer to sell. But if you're an expert salesperson and you just want to make as much money as possible, then you can sell a little bit harder offer. But today we're going to rank all the AI agency offers that you can sell to businesses. So the first one that we're going to look at is the most common plan, and that is a monthly retainer, right? A monthly retainer is just what everyone opts for, right? You just charge someone monthly $1,000, $2,000, and you either charge them just month to month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But most of the time, I'll say monthly retainer, it's month to month, right? The problem with this offer is that there's a low LTV for the customer. So your client might stay on it for 2 to 3 months or less, and then they'll just decide that, hey, this isn't working, right? Because when you have a very low commitment offer, what you're going to get is low commitment clients, right? They think that this is something, hey, if I just stick with you, if I just have your service for 1 month, like, I think this is just going to blow my business out of the park, or I'm going to become a millionaire in 1 month. Right? A lot of these businesses have a false expectation that if they just pay for your service for 1 month, they're going to change everything. But just like anything, going to the gym, you need to go to the gym for like minimum 90 days to see results. You go for a month half-assedly, you're not going to see any results. So a monthly retainer, I'm definitely going to put as the worst choice, right? Is if you have no other skill, then you do a monthly retainer. Sorry, actually, I'm going to put it as E, right? The next worst one really is offering a free trial. I don't know why any of you would offer some sort of free trial unless you're just absolutely desperate, right? When you're starting out, if you really are desperate, you really can't sell it. I mean, I did the same thing. I offered a free trial, but the way you phrase it, you can't offer it for free, right? So what I would do beforehand was I would offer, they would have to still pay for the ad spend, and when they did close, they would still have to pay me, right? So there was just nothing up front. But you have to frame it differently and not treat it as a free trial. But I see a lot of people offering a free trial, and a lot of softwares offer a free trial, like instantly. You got to try out the software for 3 days, 7 days, and then after 3-7 days, it turns into monthly. But let's be honest, unless your software or your service is just absolutely captivating and it's just really good and you just can't sell for shit, then that's where you would, the free trial will work, right? For example, like instantly people try, they send out 10 emails, it works. Okay, then they're going to opt for the paid plan, right? Or if the first 5 days they just get lots of leads through your service, then yeah, they'll convert to a monthly. But, and again, if you have a plan that is free, what you're going to attract is low commitment people, and the only reason you need to sell something for free is you don't have good sales, right? So free trial monthly is definitely the F tier, right? If you can't, is even worse than having a monthly retainer, because then you offer something for free. All in all, when you have an offer, part of the offer is how you contextualize the offer. If you have a monthly retainer but then say, oh, I can give you a free trial, then you totally destroy the value of your offer, right? You're going to attract very low commitment people that want free shit. So the next plan that I would look at is pay per appointment. So this is where, let's say the client is only paying for the appointment that shows at their home or online, right? And so you're taking care of the ad spend. There's no ad spend. You say it's pay per appointment. Essentially, you would do is you would charge them for make them commit to at least 5 appointments, right? So they pay at least something up front for you to deploy the ad spend and generate the appointments. The cons is you have to set up the appointment, so you have to have an appointment setting or sales team. So you're going to have a little bit more overhead with something like this. So pay per appointment. But here, some businesses, they would want to opt for pay per appointment, right? Rather than pay per lead. People have so many bad experiences with pay per lead, they want to pay per appointment, right? Pay per appointment, I would put, this is pretty average, right? Pay per appointment is good because that as long as you work with a reputable company, they will pay you for the appointments. I work with some businesses on this basis. The next one is ad spend plus pay per appointment, which means the client pays for the ad spend, and then they also pay you for every appointment that you set. So let's say you make them commit to a $200 per day ad spend, and then you charge them $100 per appointment set. Right? Not a lot of businesses will agree to this, because then they're going to say, well, we're already committed to the ad spend. What I need to pay for the appointment. But instead of paying you per close, they can pay you per appointment, right? So if you can get a business to agree to this model, then that's great, right? But then some of the things that you're going to experience is, let's say you're collecting the appointment commission at the end of the week. There are some, depending on your client, a lot of times they're going to nickel and dime you on what was called an appointment, right? So let's say the appointment, like, they didn't show, you also don't get the money. If they might say that, well, the appointment, they didn't want an estimate, or they didn't want what my business actually offers, then you might not get the full money amount. So again, they're nickel and diming you over this process. So here is good, but it's not great, right? And so the next one is pay-per-call. Pay-per-call has been around for a long time. Is one avenue to set up pay-per-call without much experience is set up Google LSA, Google Local Services, or Google Guarantee for your client, where a client is only paid per phone call, and then with Google LSA, they will get the money back towards the next phone call, right? Pay-per-call is great because, you know, if you're running with Google LSA, they get the money back, but then again, they're going to complain about the quality of the phone call, right? And the quality of the phone call, you haven't even gotten to the appointment yet. So while you get on the phone call, they haven't gotten to the appointment. The good thing about call versus appointment is, like, let's say the business owner gets on the phone call and then they just can't sell it. Like, so either one, they're going to make up a lot of excuses, right? Or because with an appointment, they can say, oh, well, this appointment wasn't good because blah, blah, blah. And then, well, you know, they're blaming you as a team. But then with the call, you can say, well, you know, Jeff, like, you didn't give him a call over the phone, or you didn't think, you didn't say the right things, right? But it just depends on the client if they have ownership and responsibility for the actions, right? But really, I would put pay-per-call as a D tier, right? And so the next one I would look at is a setup plus rev share. This is probably the most common that I opt for the most, is you charge your client a setup fee, and then you have a rev share with the client ongoing, all right? Which means that you have a one-time setup, and they're not paying for a monthly retainer, they're only paying you when they close, right? This is probably hardest to do because, one, you do need the sales skills to make them commit to a one-time payment, but you also need to have a good enough service delivery to where they actually close and you receive a rev share, right? So it requires good sales and good service delivery. So I would put this honestly as the best choice because it has longer longevity, and if you're actually good at what you do, you can scale vertically with this client. Last but not least, we have the annual plan. And you're probably thinking, well, annual plan is probably the hardest thing to sell. But you have to think that throughout, so let's say you take 100 phone calls the next couple of days, and then you have the option to either sell them an annual plan or a monthly plan. But the key thing is you only give them one option. You don't give people two options when you're selling them, because then you're just creating an objection for them to have for you, which is, oh, I'm going to think about these two plans, right? But no, you only want to give your prospects one plan. And so when you do is on all these 100 sales calls, you're putting in the same effort in closing them, right? It just depends on your sales skills, right? But then also, but if you just give them a clear option, let's say your annual plan, you have a 10% close rate, but on the monthly plan, you have a 30% close rate. But the annual plan is a 10 grand plan, and then the 30% close rate on your other plan was $1,000. Let me do the math here. So if you're closing at 30% out of 100 leads, you close 30 of them at 30,000, but then you close 10%, you close 10 of them at 10,000, you make nearly triple the amount of revenue, even though you close less, because simply your offer was a higher commitment, right? So you might have the same sales skills, because no matter what, anything that you sell with a higher amount, you're going to get more pushback, right? So annual plan I would put as the second best choice, because you would have more longevity in your business if you sell this offer.